Gen Z. I guess I got real problems with Gen Z, or they seem to have real problems with me. I've been the comment sections on both my discussion about Mamdani's complaints about capitalism and about housing and everything else, and the comment section about yesterday's show where we had a right-wing MAGA nutcase also complain about life today. And I said some things about Gen Z that were unacceptable to the Gen Zers. I said that they can be successful, that they are not poor, that they have their unemployment rate. Well, I didn't say this, but it's true. The unemployment rate is lower at this age than any other generation. I said all these positive things about Gen Z's potential in life, and people flipped out. I mean, they all want to tell me it's not true. They are poor. They can't find jobs. There are no jobs. They're going to lose a lot of jobs. They are losing jobs. They can't buy a home. Life just sucks for Gen Z. And it's, and there's some truth to this. I think that's absolutely right. I think there's truth to all the people complaining about Gen Z, because they are maybe the most pessimistic of all generations. I don't know, but it seems like that way. They've grown up in a world, of being told from when they were very little that the world is going to end, that we're destroying the planet, that things are horrible, that whether it's from the left they get climate change, or from the right they get carnage in the streets of America. They've been told, for the last 10 years, that they won't find a job, that there are no jobs, that AI is going to take all the jobs, that generally everything sucks. And certainly everything in the Western civilization sucks. And it might be true. I haven't seen any stats on this, that they are the most pessimistic of all generations, the most depressed of all generations. And maybe they're depressed not because they've got iPhones, as some people claim. Maybe they're depressed because of what their teachers teach them. Maybe they're depressed because they've been told that they're entering a world that is antagonistic to their interests and that they have no chance of success. Maybe they're depressed because they've been told that reason is impotent and that they should just go by their emotions, and when they try that, they fail. But here's some reality, facts, numbers. I don't know, numbers. In a paper published last year that looked at Americans' household income by generation, after you account for taxes, government transfers, and inflation, millennials were somewhat better off than Gen X. Those are born between 65 and 80 in 1980. So I'm not Gen X. Some of you might be Gen X. Most of you, I think, are millennials. Anyway, millennials were better off at Gen X when they were at the same age. So millennials better off than Gen X. Turns out that Gen X would have been better off than boomers, my generation, at the same age. And it turns out that boomers were quite a bit better off than the silent generation. Silent generation is considered 1928 to 1945. So if you look at age 20-something, 21, 22, but really from age 15, millennials are better off than Gen Xers. Gen Xers better off than boomers. Boomers are better off than millennials. But you know who outshines them all? Who's better off than all of them? Gen Z. In every age group, now there are only a few age groups because Gen Z are so young, Gen Z outperforms the other generations. A typical 25-year-old Gen Zer has this is as of last year, has an annual household income of over $40,000, more than 50% above baby boomers at the same age. So you guys are double, you're twice as rich as I was when I was age 20. Actually, you're much more than 20. $40,000. if I made $10,000 when I was 20, I was getting a salary from the military. I didn't make $40,000 until I was in my 30s. Anyway, it's not about me, but these are averages. These are median. They're not even averages. They're median. So 50% or below, 50% or under. And this is not just true of the United States. This is a pretty global phenomenon. Young people are fairly wealthy in relative to their age, relative to other generations. This was true of French people aged 16 to 24. This is true of Croatians and Slovenians and people all over the world. Now, Gen Zs are going to protest, right, as they do all the time. Yes, they have a higher income, but it's a mirage. Because we're not taking into account exploding cost of college and housing, right? These are things that are much more expensive. And it's true. Global house prices are near all-time highs. And graduates have more debt than they've ever had before. But Gen Zs are doing fine. And if you're not, by the way, then you need to examine your own situations. And I know everybody has friends that are not doing okay. Well, okay, but the reality is that overall, Gen Zs are doing fine. Because they own so much. They own so much more. In 2022, Americans under 25 spent 43% of their post-tax income on housing and education, including interest on debt from college. 43%. That's slightly below the average for under 25s from 89 to 2019. They spent more than 43% on housing and education. And the reason is not that housing and education were more expensive back then. They weren't. They were cheaper. The reason is that Zoomers just make more money. Zoomers, in the United States at least, their home ownership rates are higher than millennials. Now, millennials were screwed because they came of age during the financial crisis, and they had a hard time finding jobs. And it's true that Gen Zers have home ownership rates lower than previous generations, but higher than millennials. So, Zoomers are doing pretty well. And in particular, they're doing well if you take into account that Zoomers generally, again, on average, work less. And that they invented the idea of quiet quitting. That is, doing enough work not to be fired. Somehow they still make good money. Bare minimum Mondays. Do you know bare minimum Mondays? Have you ever heard that? I have. So they think jobs are right. Millennials hustled for jobs. Zoomers just expect the job just to be there. At least, again, averages, surveys, doesn't reflect on everybody. Other aspects of Gen Z that are troubling. They're less likely to be entrepreneurs. They're less likely to be innovators, at least so far. Now, Gen Z is still coming of age, so we will see. And there are very few Zoomers on rich lists, whereas if you think about ultra rich, ultra young tech founders like Zuckerberg and Patrick Collison at Stripe, and the guy who created Snapchat and others, you're not seeing many Zoomers like that. They're just not there. Right? So just some stats. So again, so far, Generation Z is doing really well. Now, a recession would hurt them. It always hurts the young more than anybody else. The young usually do worse than anybody else during a recession. They're likely to lose their jobs and so on. A recession would hit them hard, and that, they might fall back, but they do well. They also spend a lot. They are consumers. Gen Z are definitely consumers. So Yeah, I mean, the reality is that I don't know if you saw the piece in the Wall Street Journal on work-life balance by a Gen Zer saying, to hell with work-life balance, just focus on work, make a lot of money, sacrifice whatever you need to do in order to make the money so at 30 you can be rich. Now, it's a bad piece because it divorces work from values and enjoyment and it's just about getting the money and he's talking about putting on 80 pounds because all he does is work. And there are Gen Zers like that work very hard. So generalizations are not helpful. The reality is this. There are plenty of jobs out there. The reality is that there are plenty of good paying jobs out there. The reality is that there's plenty, an unlimited number of new businesses to be started and created. There's a huge amount of risk to be taken. There are immense adventures to go on, places to visit, places to see. You can be now what you couldn't be in my generation. You couldn't be in any other generation. You could be a digital nomad. You can come and live in Lisbon and work for a company in the US. There's so many opportunities that you have. I know you think that having an iPhone is a burden. It's sinking your life. It's destroying your social relationships. But this is a massive asset if you know how to use it. And this computer and this camera, you couldn't do this. The number of professions that didn't exist in the past. The opportunities that you have because of technology that didn't exist, that make your life much easier, better, and provide you opportunities that nobody has ever had in the history of humanity. To sulk and pretend that the world is ending. Yes, I know this is what you've been taught and this is how you've been trained. But stop it. Take personal responsibility over your life. Figure out the path where you can pursue values, where you can pursue the values that are important for you. Go watch Steve Jobs' commencement address to Stanford. Find the things that you love. Go do the things that you love. If you can't do the things you love, then create the things that you love. Start a new business. Meet great people. There were no limits. There's nothing about your generation that is hampering you. Yes, politics sucks. Yes, the economy's not as good as it could be, but it's not that bad. Yes, there are more regulations, more controls, taxes are mildly higher, not that much. Okay, but to compensate for that, you have a world filled with technological opportunities. You have a world filled with opportunities. Again, this technology costs almost nothing. I remember fondly my first PC, my SE30, that cost $3,000 and could barely do anything. Now I have this amazing laptop that is like a gazillion times more powerful than that original desktop computer with a screen that's 5 times bigger, and I can travel with it anywhere in the world, and it costs half of that desktop computer or less. The opportunities that this technology creates for you to become so much more productive. It's why are you richer? Why are you making more money than previous generations? Because you're more productive. Why are you more productive? Because you have access to technology that makes you more productive. It's all the capital that's being invested in you in the technology. So, I'll say it again. I keep saying it, I know, and you guys get upset. Stop whining. Get a life. Find your values. Find the things that you love. And if you don't know what you love, go experiment. Go try different things. Embrace technology. Build your life around, your career around technology. That's the future. One way or the other, it's the future. Learn right now. Learn how to use AI. Immerse yourself in AI. It's clearly what's coming. Whatever your field is, whatever you're passionate about, AI is going to play a role in it. So immerse yourself in it. Develop strategies to enhance your life, to pursue your values, to gain a job that'll make you enthusiastic and positive about the world. Accept the fact that you were lied to as a kid. The world is not going to end. You are not going to die. Your opportunities are not limited. They're unlimited. And yes, I know, if you're a foreigner, it's harder now to get into the United States, and that sucks. If you're in America, housing is expensive. It's expensive. It sucks. So you won't own a house until you're 38. So what? Go rent. Rent. And if housing is the most important thing in your life, then move to Cleveland or move to Iowa or move to somewhere where housing is dirt cheap. But live with a capital L. Stop feeling sorry for yourself and go make a life. You're too young to be sulking. You're too young to feel sorry for yourself. You're too young to be complaining. The world is far from perfect. Far from perfect. You would be so much richer in my world. But the world's not going to change because you sulk. Your opportunities are not going to grow because you complain. And socialism, popular among Gen Zers these days, or fascism, popular among Gen Zers these days, is not going to solve your problem. It's going to multiply your problems. It's going to lead to the world which will really suck, objectively suck, where your life will be horrible. So if you want the kind of life you pretend that you've got right now, if you want the kind of miserable life that you pretend that is only available to you now, then yeah, vote for the socialists and vote for the fascists. That'll get you there. But if you actually want to be successful in life, if you actually want values in life, then go find them, go make them, go create them, go pursue them. Go challenge the status quo, go change the world. Go with ambition and positivity. Become an entrepreneur, build a new business, create a new product, innovate. Teach us how it's done. Teach us boomers who know nothing how it's really done. So enough, guys. I get these long things about how this and this is wrong and that is wrong. And every single thing there on the list is like, okay, so reality is what it is. What are you going to do about it? How are you going to make it better? And how are you going to make your life better? And, you know, it's like the guys who can't find any women. And so what they do, they give up. They become incels, or men going their own way, or whatever the hell they want to call it. They give up. You didn't get your perfect job the first time, so you give up. Jobs are impossible. Your first startup failed, so you give up. That's not America. That's not what the spirit of this country used to be, at least. And it shouldn't be your spirit. Fail, try again. Learn, try again. There are good women out there for you to date and marry. There are good jobs out there for you to find. There are good businesses for you to start. Whining ain't going to get you there. All right, that is my Gen Z rant. I have a feeling that Christian will turn that into a short video. I have a feeling I'm going to gain subscribers or lose subscribers on this one. Anybody want to take bets? Do I gain subscribers or lose subscribers for my rant on Gen Z? I don't know. I don't know. Most of my listeners are millennials, so most of my listeners are 24 to 44-year-olds. 25 to 44-year-olds.